Some people buy a Rolex or a Porsche for their midlife crisis. Others have a chance to return to the NFL, Brian. There's Philip Rivers at Colts practice. The spry 44-year-old was officially signed to Indy's practice squad today. The veteran quarterback played 17 years in the NFL, but definitely wasn't looking to return to the field. Comes to a team that has plenty of injuries in the quarterback room. Here's how it went down from Shane Steichen and Rivers himself, new on SportsCenter.
Tuesday, he was in the hotel. Thinking it over, he called us. Me and Chris were in the office. Said, "What do you think?" He said, "Dadgummit, let's freaking go."
I know it is tough, and I know 5 years is a long time. Believe me, that weighed on me a lot, it being so long. But it also is a game I've played a long time and stayed in over the last 5 years. And I know high school ball is different, but a game that I was done playing. Certainly, I wasn't really hanging on to any hope of playing again. I'd kind of thought that ship had sailed. But something about it excited me, and it's kind of one of those deals. The door opens, and you can either walk through it and find out if you can do it, or run from it. And I know that there's risk involved, obviously, of what may or may not happen. But the only way to find out is going for it.
We now welcome our Colts reporter, Stephen Holder, and NFL analyst, Harry Douglas. Stephen, I'll turn to you first. Look, this has been a great story. We've enjoyed talking about it, but everyone has the same question here. Is he actually going to play?
That is to be determined, but it is a very real possibility. Look, I'll start with this. The Colts were scheduled to have a walkthrough today. They were not scheduled to practice. Late yesterday afternoon, we got notice they had changed plans. They are on the practice field right now conducting an actual practice. One big reason for that, they want to evaluate their quarterback situation, specifically Philip Rivers. So that's what they're doing. This is an evaluation over the next couple of days. And frankly, based on all the available evidence, if Philip Rivers demonstrates he can play, then the likelihood of him playing at Seattle on Sunday is extremely real. And right now, they are working through getting him out there and getting reacclimated, getting back in shape. And another variable here is certainly the condition of backup Riley Leonard, who finished the game on Sunday after Daniel Jones' injury. He has a sore knee, but he is also on the practice field today and, frankly, looks like he could go. So this may be a decision that really relates to Philip Rivers' preparedness and really nothing else.
So it remains to be seen. But, Harry, let's just 20,000-foot view here. This situation feels surreal, right? Working out a 44-year-old Rivers on Monday, him potentially playing on Sunday. Oh, by the way, he hasn't played in the NFL in 5 years. What's your perspective on Indy's situation?
Well, number one, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And if Riley Leonard cannot go, you have a guy in Philip Rivers who's very familiar with the system. Him and Shane Steichen, they go all the way back to not just Los Angeles, but the San Diego days with the Chargers. This is not your ordinary or very familiar story on a Wednesday when you talk about NFL news. But part of me is I'm interested in seeing if he does go out there, what is he going to look like, if the offensive line is going to be able to protect him. But you also have to look at this from the Seattle Seahawks side of things. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of guys amongst their front seven are saying right now that if Philip Rivers is out there on that football field, they're trying to send Grandpa back to the house.
Literal grandpa, by the way. Harry, Indy can still win the AFC South. Like, this is a situation where they are very competitive. They're 8-5. The Jaguars lead right now. They are 9-4 in the division. Right now, who do you see as the division's best team?
I'm going with the Houston Texans. They're also the hottest team in the NFL right now. When you look at that defense, that's number one overall in total defense. They do a great job of getting takeaways as well, sacking the quarterback. They have ferocious players at all three levels. DeMeco Ryans and the job that he's been able to do this season, especially when C.J. Stroud went out for a few games. But now he's back, and C.J. Stroud, the way he maneuvered the pocket versus the Kansas City Chiefs, finding guys left and right. Nico Collins is back on stride. Jaden Higgins, the way he's playing at the wide receiver position. This Houston Texans team is very dangerous and also scary. So I have them right now as the favorites in the AFC South.
Stephen, thank you very much. Harry, we will have much more with you later. Brian? Brian and Arda back with you on SportsCenter. He's back, and age is just a number. The 44-year-old agreed to a deal yesterday to shore up a depleted quarterback room for the Colts. Daniel Jones is done for the season. Anthony Richardson still out. Riley Leonard has a knee issue. Fun fact, Leonard's 23 years old and the same age as Rivers' daughter. Rivers talked about his return today. It's new on SportsCenter.
I saw the injury live, and I mean, terrible. Feel terrible for Daniel. I will say, when that happened, I mean, I kind of just, in my mind, I was like, what in the world? I was like, just kind of how crazy it's been with the quarterback position. And I have to admit, I thought, well, I wonder if Shane will call later, but kind of thinking, I don't know, and so it was one of those deals. I was like, shoot, you immediately, the competitor in you, and you get kind of excited, like, man, shoot, are you serious, and I was like, well, we'll see, and then Monday morning it kind of sped up a little bit.
Rivers' resume makes him a candidate for the Hall of Fame, no doubt. He ranks amongst the top 10 all-time in passing touchdowns, passing yards, and wins as a starter. If Rivers were to start, it would be his first appearance since the 2020 AFC wildcard game when the Colts visited the Bills. Our general manager is here now, front office insider Mike Tannenbaum. I'd love to hear it from your perspective. What do you make of this whole situation?
Arda, it was stunning. When you think about the Colts situation, there's a couple of quarterbacks that are out there. Maybe Derek Carr comes out of retirement. Maybe the Giants would release Russell Wilson, amongst others. He's 44 years old, and they play Seattle this week. Seattle is second in the league in pressure percent. They are going to blitz him in warm-ups if he plays. It is really stunning. I was around Vinny Testaverde towards the end of his career. It's not the arm that goes, it's their feet and quickness. You just hope that he's able to protect himself.
Yeah, so, I mean, this remains to be seen whether Phillip Rivers will actually see a snap this weekend, but it is possible. It is likely, but it's not just a now issue, right? Like, the Colts have question marks and questions to answer at the end of the season. Daniel Jones is scheduled to be a free agent. What do you make of the QB room as we approach the end of the season?
Well, the obvious comparison for them as a free agent is Kirk Cousins, who tore his Achilles, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. He tore his in October. This obviously is in December. They could franchise him, but I can't imagine that they want to spend $46 million on a one-year deal. You want to see, obviously, maybe what you have with, Anthony Richardson, and then sign a contract that maybe gives you a little bit protection relative to making sure they can come back. The list of free agents isn't very good, as you would well imagine. There's not a lot of free agents out there that are going to, at the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers is going to be 42 years old, so maybe you look at a youth movement and go from 44 to 42. But beyond that, I think you try to re-sign Daniel Jones. I don't think he gets the $90 million guarantees that Kirk Cousins did, because, again, I really doubt, based on the history of this injury, that he would be ready to go by opening day. So the Colts do need to protect themselves.
I love that, the youth movement from 44 to 42. We could see Aaron Rodgers in a Colts uniform. How funny would that be? Mike T, always appreciate your perspective.
All right, let's stay in the AFC. Patriots and the Bills, they battle on Sunday. New England can clinch with a victory. They clinch the AFC East with a win. All right, so let's join by our Bills reporter, Elena Getzenberg, our Patriots reporter, Mike Reese. Elena, let me start with you. Bills lost round one of this matchup. I think it was in October, which felt like a statement game for the Pats. So what are they saying about getting revenge and the big payback on Sunday?
Well, here's the thing in Orchard Park. The Bills have won 5 straight AFC East titles, but really the big message here has been this is just another big game. They're really downplaying that the Patriots can win the division with a win in this game. Obviously, the AFC East is something the Bills have had a lot of pride in winning. Sean McDermott has really emphasized it over the years as first you got to win the division and then the playoffs and the goals of a Super Bowl come after that. But instead today, McDermott really downplayed it, saying that is one of our goals to win the division, but they have many. But the Bills no doubt have a lot of understanding how challenging this Patriots matchup is, and they are viewing it as a step to making the playoffs as a whole. The good news for the Bills is that they are getting healthier at the right time. A lot of players are coming back to practice. One of those is right tackle Spencer Brown, who said today that he thinks he's going to be out there on Sunday, which would be a big boost for this offense.
Absolutely, and for Josh Allen as well. Okay, so Mike, let's talk about New England. What's their mindset knowing the Bills want payback and they're trying to clinch the division?
Well, Brian, let's talk about the magnitude of this game. You could make a case. This is the biggest Patriots home game since Tom Brady's last game with the franchise. That was in January of the year 2020. The coach on the other side of that game, Mike Vrabel, with the Tennessee Titans. And it was just a few hours ago that Vrabel came into this media workroom and said, it's a great stage that we put ourselves on as the Patriots' first-year head coach. And in the locker room, wide receiver Stefon Diggs said he likes the idea that the Patriots are underdogs. He said it's exciting when you have something to prove and you can play with an edge. And I love what Diggs said, Brian. He said November is when football season starts, and he said December and January is when you play meaningful games. He says they're teetering on the line there. He says the Patriots have a great opportunity ahead of themselves, so why not go chase it?
Oh, I love it. It's going to be one heck of a football game. By the way, guys, they say it's going to be 30 and snowing there in Foxborough. So stay warm. Alina, Mike, thank you.